Who do I want to be in the world? My relationship to source energy, to all that is God. I'm not talking about what you believe in God. I'm talking about your experience of that which is all life, which is divine and universal. I'm talking about the big deal. Being connected and aligned with that. When you are tuned in and charged into that, whenever you feel empty, you go inside yourself and you connect to the source, and you know that all things are possible.
Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
Bienvenido, bienvenida a tu canal de superación personal. Yo soy Antonio Cruces, tu entrenador personal para la vida. Encantado de volver a saludarte y decirte que en el vídeo de hoy te traigo la increíble historia de superación personal de Oprah Winfrey, que con tan solo 4 o 5 añitos ella ya sabía que no iba a cumplir el sueño que su abuela tenía para su vida. Una de las personas más influyentes del mundo pasó por muchas dificultades para ser la persona que es a día de hoy. Esta es su historia, dentro vídeo.
And today I want to talk about belief, what you believe about yourself. What do you believe is true for you? What do you believe is possible for you? Many of you have heard me share this story of growing up rural Mississippi, obviously a black girl. At the time we were called colored people, Negroes, and my grandmother was a maid. That's all she ever knew. The only real expectation she held for me was that I would one day become a maid and, in her words, have some good white folks, meaning people who would not speak negatively about me, who would allow me to take food home, who would be good to me, would treat me with some level of dignity and respect. That was my grandmother's dream for me. But I had another dream for myself, another more than a dream. I had a belief for myself. And I remember watching her hang out clothes on a line one day and say to me, "You have to watch me, Oprah Gail, because one day you'll have to do this for yourself." And knowing inside myself that that was not going to be my life. Don't know how I knew it, other than that thing that we all have, intuition or an instinct that said, no, this will not be my life. But because I sensed that and was connected to that, and I remember it was a very still moment. It was quiet, and I was still, and I was watching her. I could see her right now with the clothespins in her mouth and putting them on the line and seeing the breath, because it was cold, the moisture coming from her lips. And I knew that that would not be my life. I knew that I will not be hanging clothes on a line in a backyard in Mississippi. So I was either 4 or 5 years old. And that belief that that would not be my life is what I held on to for the longest of times. I just, no matter what, believed that there was something bigger, greater, more for me. I had no idea that it would take the form that it has taken. The hottest ticket in television! That I would become a person on television, and that I would do all the things that I've done, because obviously when I was growing up, there was nobody like me on television. We're going to Australia! I just believed that there was something more, and I was always cognizant of what that more was. And what you will find is that at different times in your life, the call will be different. For some people, they know from the time that they were, old enough to speak what it is they wanted to do. I didn't know that. I had no idea for the longest time. I was looking around me and trying to feel my way through what felt like the right thing. But what I knew was that whatever that right thing was, it wasn't going to be what everybody else told me it was. And so I think that's true for not just people who become known or become famous. I think it's true for everybody who decides for themselves that there is something more. And I want to listen to what that is and be guided by that. Now, many times people ask about what is my purpose? How do I know what my purpose is? How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The only way to know what to do in life is to pay attention to the life that you're living right now. You can't get it by listening to other people. There's a wonderful Bible passage that says, "Be still and know that I am God." You can't allow the voices of the world to drown out that which I know is the voice of God, the voice of your own consciousness, the voice of the purest light of yourself, because that is how the energy of God speaks to all of us. And so, knowing that, number one, you deserve and are worthy of the best that your creation has to offer, and believing that there is a reason why you are here, and understanding that your job is to figure out what that is and then follow that belief. This is what I know. You don't become what you want, and most times in life you don't get what you want. And I will have to say that for me, colored girl, Negro child, growing up in Mississippi, that one of the greatest gifts I was ever afforded was not to have been put in a segregated school system. Had I been put in a segregated school and taught in a segregated school system that said you're less than because you're a woman and you're less than because you're a colored woman, I probably wouldn't be here today. I would have had to then overcome that belief, that conditioning of a belief. But because I was raised by a grandmother who raised me in the church, and I went to church, Sunday school, lived in the church, and I would sit there, second pew, on the right, third row, every Sunday, just taking it all in. And I would listen to the stories, listen to the Bible stories, and I would hear that through God all things are possible. I would hear the story of Jesus talking about if you have the faith of a mustard seed. And you know, it was many years later that I actually saw a mustard seed. I could not believe what a mustard seed actually looked like. Have you ever seen a mustard seed? Here, I have some here. I want to pull one out. Now, Jesus said if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you could move mountains and anything was possible. Now, I heard this as a kid and I really believed it. And so the question is, what do you believe? Do you believe that you are worthy of happiness? Do you believe that happiness, success, abundance, comfort, fulfillment, peace, joy, love is a part of your birthright? Is that what you believe? Or do you believe something else? Because you will manifest the life that you believe. I've always known that no matter what my belief is, I'm going to be all right. Why? Because I have that faith of a mustard seed. It's actually a few mustard seeds. Dear, beautiful, brown-skinned girl. And I use the word beautiful because I know that's never a word you would call yourself. I look into your eyes and I see the light and hope of myself. In this photo, you're just about to turn 20, posing outside the television station where you were recently hired as a reporter. You look calm. You look happy. But I know how scared you are. If I could say anything to you, it would be, relax. It's gonna be okay, girl. You're proud of yourself
with the reporter on the scene
for getting this job, but also uncertain. Uncertain that you'll be able to manage all of your college classes.
We're standing by here.
And work a full day's job doing the news.
Blah, 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 blah.
Even so, your biggest concern right now how to manage your love life with Bubba. Yes, you are dating someone named Bubba. On this day, you've brought him to the station to see where you work, hoping he'll be proud. He seems less than impressed. The truth is, he's intimidated. You don't know this, though, because you see yourself only through his eyes. A lesson you will have to learn again and again and again. To see yourself with your own eyes and to love yourself through your own heart.
The people at Channel 13, like Oprah Winfrey and Richard Scher.
You've spent too many days and years trying to please other people.
Are we vain?
And be what they wanted you to be. I understand how and why that happened now. You will have to learn that the wounds of your past, being raped at 9, molested from the time you were 10 through 14, getting whipped as a young girl by people who said they loved you because you stepped out of place, and not even being allowed to show any anger or crying afterwards, that damaged your self-esteem. If only now you knew how much. Yet through it all, you managed to hold on to a belief in God, and even more importantly, God's belief in you. That, my dear, will be your single greatest gift, knowing that there is a power greater than yourself and trusting that force to guide you. The trajectory of your life changed the day you answered that call from Chris Clark. He was the news director at WLAC TV. Your response was ignited by the words of your then favorite Bible verse. Remember Philippians 3:14? Used to say it all the time. I am pressed to the mark for the prize of the high calling of God. Knowing there is a high calling is what will sustain and fulfill you. From where I sit now, viewing your journey, there really are very few regrets.
There's one thread running through each show.
That means a life well lived. I won't say goodbye. I'll just say, until we meet again. Even then, you understood that success was a process, and that moving with the flow of life and not against it would be your greatest achievement. You have made me proud.
And the 3 things that I want to leave with you, just these 3, I could do 10, I could do a whole life class. But just these 3 things will carry you if you let them. First and foremost, knowing who you are. Knowing who you are. Being able to answer this question, who am I? And what do I want? You know, many times when I go out of the country, I am baffled by that question. To explain what is your occupation. I've stood there for 10 minutes. Well, am I a talk show host? Well, I'm more than a talk show host. Am I a businesswoman? I'm a businesswoman. I'm more than a businesswoman. Am I an entrepreneur? I'm more than an entrepreneur. So I just leave it blank or self-employed. So I'm not asking for the roles that you play as daughters. I'm not asking that question. What are the roles that you play as a daughter, as a friend, as a sister? You're going to be a lawyer, you're going to teach, you're going to be a pharmacist. I'm asking the bigger question of who am I? Who am I really? My answer is I am God's child. I am that which is born of all that is. I am, as Pierre de Chardin said, a spiritual being having a human experience. come trailing the breath of the ancestors yet, but trailing the breath of the angels. And understanding that because I am connected to the source of all that is possible for me. That's who I am. And what do I want? I don't want to just be successful in the world. I don't want to just make a mark or have a legacy. The answer to that question for me is I want to fulfill the highest, truest expression of myself as a human being. I want to fulfill the promise that the Creator dreamed when He dreamed the cells that made up me. What do you want? Who are you? Number two, you must find a way to serve. Martin Luther King said that not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great because greatness is determined by service. Now, we live in a world where everybody wants to be famous and where we admire people for just being famous. We think being known brings us value. The truth is, all of that will fade in time. In 3 years, you won't be able to name the housewives of Atlanta. The real truth is that service and significance, service and the significance that you bring to your service is that which is lasting. So to be able to, whatever your occupation or job or talent or gift is, our honorees today getting doctorate degrees, to apparently opposite fields, HIV and AIDS and the spoken word. But what they have in common is service, using the spoken word in service to community and the world, using your knowledge and information about HIV and AIDS and medicine in service to the world. And if you look at all the most successful people in the world, whether they know it or not, they have that paradigm of service. Everybody's talking about Mark Zuckerberg and IPO. Service. Jay-Z rapping. Service. Through the word, to people, through song. For many years, I was really just happy to be on TV, and people would stop and say, "Oh, you on TV?" "Yeah, I'm on TV. I like being on TV. It's a nice job." And it was about the time that I received my honorary doctorate from Spelman around 1993. So I don't know if that had something to do with it. I thought of myself as Dr. Winfrey. That I went back and I took a long look at what it was I was doing on TV and made a decision that I was no longer going to just be on TV, but I was going to use TV as a platform, as a force for good, and not be used by TV. And I will tell you, my decision to make that significant change in the way I operated on television, using television as a service, changed my career exponentially. Service through medicine, service through art, using whatever it is you produce, your product, as a way of giving back to the world. When you shift the paradigm of whatever it is you choose to do to service and you bring significance to that, success will, I promise you, follow you. Service and significance equals success. That's number two. Number three, it's so simple, but so hard to do. Always do the right thing. Always. Be excellent. People notice. Think of how you notice. You go to Taco Bell, somebody gives you an extra napkin and some sauce. You notice. You want to go back to that person, because even at Taco Bell, excellence shows itself. Be excellent. Let excellence be your brand. Everybody talks about building a brand. I never even knew what that was. When people say, you're a brand, I would say, no, I'm just Oprah. What I recognize now is that my choice to, in every way, in every example, in every experience, to do the right thing and the excellent thing is what has created the brand. Years ago, I did an ad for Revlon for an ad they were doing called Unforgettable Women. And what I know is that when you are excellent, you become unforgettable. People remember you. You stand out. Regardless of what it is, you become an unforgettable woman. And that is what we all want. We want to be unforgettable and not forgettable. So doing the right thing, even when nobody knows you're doing the right thing, will always bring the right thing to you. I promise you that. Why? Because the third law of motion is always at work. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That is so true in all of our lives. That's what Newton said. Celia in The Color Purple said it. Everything you even try to do to me, already done to you. Everything you even try to do to me, already done to you. So you don't have to worry about revenge or getting back at somebody, making sure they pay. You just have to do the right thing, and the right thing will follow you even when people don't support it. I remember many times on my show. There are many shows y'all never saw. And the reason you didn't see them is because I got the last vote. And I remember 2010, my team, hardest working team in television, had done this interview with a woman who turns out she was a Sunday school teacher by day and a sex addict at night. Ooh. And they were like, you won't believe it. We got her going out, we got her with the men, and we get to show her, and she was willing to show us everything. I sat down with the woman for an interview that was taped. And during the process of the interview, I said, why are you doing this? And she said, oh, I want to help people. I want to tell my story and I want to help people. I said, do you have children? She says, yes, I have a 10-year-old son. I knew right then, this is never going to see the light of day. So we got off the air and I said to the lady, we are not going to air that show. And she said, why? My producer said, why? She knew she was being filmed. She knew what she was saying. She knows what I said, because her son will never get over it. Her son will never get over it. And it's not worth a rating point to me. Not worth a rating point to me to know that there's a 10-year-old boy who's destroyed because his mother went on the Oprah Winfrey Show and told all her business. You do the right thing, even when other people think it may not be. And oftentimes, when you make a decision to do the right thing, immediately you're faced with doubt. Was that the right thing? Was that the right decision? I don't know. Was that the right thing? You always know it's the right thing, when in the end, there is peace. You are rewarded by peace in knowing that you did the right thing. The most important thing I have come to know in doing the right thing and making the right choices is understanding what we talked about yesterday. All of you leaving here have the potential for enormous success. There's a price that comes with that. People don't always like you, and they're not always happy for you. And if you surround yourself with people who are not accustomed to your success, they become fearful, they become scared, because you are reflecting back something to them that they don't recognize. Now, they're not going to say, you know, I'm very fearful, because you're reflecting back to me something I don't recognize. They're going to say, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, who she thinks she is. Who she thinks she is. That only happens when you are around people who do not mean and want and aspire to the best for you. People who want the best for you want you to be your best. So my greatest advice to you is to surround yourself with people who are going to fill your cup until your cup runneth over. So when people say you're so full of yourself, you can say, yeah. Yes, I'm full. I'm so full, my cup runneth over. And to know that once your cup runneth over, you cannot spend your life with your gallon-size offerings, offering them to pint-sized people. You have got to surround yourself with gallon-sized people who can hang in the same company with you, so that you're not offering your gallons to those little pints out there who can't hold it anyway. Choice to Change the World. I love that song. I love hearing you all sing that song. And what I know for sure is that the biggest choices begin and end with you, your internal big questions. Who do I want to be in the world? My relationship to source energy, to all that is God. I'm not talking about what you believe in God. I'm talking about your experience of that which is all life, which is divine and universal. I'm talking about the big deal. Being connected and aligned with that. When you are tuned in and charged into that, whenever you feel empty, you go inside yourself and you connect to the source, and you know that all things are possible. To know that, and to choose to do the right thing in service and significance, I promise you, you will create a vessel of service for yourself first, because you have to honor yourself first. You have to give to yourself first, otherwise you have nothing to give away. You will create a vessel for yourself, for your family, your community, and the world. And those three things will not only lead you to a blessed life. I stand as a witness. My life is so blessed, I can't even take it in sometimes. It will lead you not just to a gifted life and a rewarding life that fills you up, but a sweet life. That's what you want. You want the sweetness. You want it to be so sweet, so that even when the storms come, and they will, you'll know, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. The storm is passing over, and you shall not be moved, because you know who you are. When you can do that, grace will follow you, grace and glory. And when they see you coming, it ought to make them proud. They say it's the click of your heels, it's the bend of your hair, It's the palm of your hand. It's the need for your care. Because you a woman. You a Spelman woman. Phenomenal class of 2012. Thank you.
Bueno, espero que la historia de Oprah Winfrey te haya llenado de energía de optimismo. Y amigo, amiga, para ti tengo una última pregunta que es, de todo lo que has visto en este vídeo, ¿qué ha sido lo que más te ha gustado? ¿Qué ha sido lo que más te ha impactado? Decirte que me lo puedes escribir abajo en el espacio para los comentarios de este vídeo. Me encantará saberlo. Darle las gracias a Javi Benítez por proponerme este vídeo y decirte que si te gustaría que investigara sobre una persona en concreto, estoy abierto a recibir propuestas. Igual, escríbemelo abajo en el espacio para los comentarios y vemos si podemos hacerla. Amigo, amiga, recordarte que te sigas superando, que lo estás haciendo genial. Darte las gracias por tu atención y decirte que nos vemos en el siguiente vídeo. Un fuerte abrazo. Hasta luego.